Alright. Hi, my name is Zach Horn. For my ADMJ presentation, I will be discussing the Secret Service. During this presentation, I'd just like to go over the different divisions of the Secret Service, the certain training and requirements you have to be to join the Secret Service, and to begin, I'd like to start with some brief history of the Secret Service. So I'm currently just reading off my slides that I made for the PowerPoint for the class that I was going to give, but unfortunately we did not have time, so I didn't get to give it. But to begin, just so you can get a general idea of what the Secret Service is about, if it's directly from their website, it's just their kind of mission statement. Um, so this is quoted: the United States Secret Service is a federal law enforcement agency with headquarters in Washington, D.C. and more than 150 offices worldwide. Established in 1865 solely to suppress the counterfeiting of U.S. currency, today the Secret Service is mandated by Congress to carry out the integrated mission of protection and investigations. So obviously now the Secret Service does a lot more than what they did in the past. They really evolved over time, as I will discuss sooner. But now I want to jump into, just the history and how the Secret Service got started. So the Secret Service was actually formed on July 5th, 1865, and it was a part of the Department of Treasury. Kind of like an overview, they focused on hunting down currency fraud, people making illegal bills in the U.S. and everything as such as like that. So in 1867, this is when the Secret Service actually got the actual assignment to detecting persons perpetrating frauds against the government. And then in 1877, Congress passed legislation prohibiting counterfeiting of any coin, gold, or silver bar. So obviously, people were kind of trying to jump around the laws, and they now, could get arrested for any type of counterfeiting, just not bills. So history continued again in 1894. Is when they informally began to do part-time protection of the president. The president at the time was President Cleveland. Then they kind of got the main job in 1901 when President McKinley got shot and assassinated. And so Congress requested that the Secret Service take over all protection of U.S. presidents. They still were not getting funded at all, so in 1906 they passed the Sundry Civil Expenses Act, which granted more funds to the Secret Service so they could, build those high-tech bulletproof limousines, or back in that time, still more protection and training and whatnot. Um, then jumping ahead a little bit, then the Secret Service started investigating for foreign espionage in the United States. So hunting down, foreign spies and whatnot like that. And this was under the guidance of President Wilson. In 1922, the White House police force was created. So that's kind of like the guards around the White House. Everything is as such. In 1950, jumping ahead quite a few years, this was the next big main event. Agent Coughlin was shot and killed protecting President Truman by two Puerto Rican nationalists. Obviously, that's a big deal, and it shows that they're doing their job, getting done what needs to be done, and protecting the president. 12 years after that, Congress asked the Secret Service to take over the protection of the vice president as well, and then another 9 years after that, Congress authorized the Secret Service to take over protecting foreign leaders of government that come to visit the United States. Now, more recently, in 1999, the Secret Service actually got their first headquarters in D.C., so that was a pretty big deal. And in 2003, the agency was transferred from the Department of Treasury to the Department of Homeland Security, mainly for the reason of 9/11. So they did a lot of focusing on currency up and that, and then protecting the president as well. But now, since they are in the Department of Homeland Security, they're more going to investigate um, all types of different types of crimes, and but still focusing on fraud of currency and whatnot. So that's kind of brief history there. So the requirements to join, if you're interested, you have to have a bachelor's degree in law enforcement or some other hard field that they might need, and you need or you could have a master's degree in something or be a doctorate, because they could always use that, like doctors and dentists and everything as such. But if you're going to join with a bachelor's degree or master's, they would like a 3.0 GPA or higher. Obviously, if you're going to be in Secret Service, you need to be physically and mentally sharp. They're not going to hire any couch potatoes or you know um, people that aren't educated. They will review your resume, and having prior law enforcement or military experience helps a lot. Um, for that, then they'll have a physical fitness test, and that, from what I know, the physical fitness test is a lot like the APFT in the Army. So it'd be 2 minutes of push-ups, how many you can do, 2 minutes of sit-ups, how many you can do in a row, and then a 2 mile run that's timed. But I believe that it's only a mile and a half for some reason. So there's all that, and then you also have to take logical exams, written exams, just a bunch of them. And from what I read on their website, they actually had a sample test. It went something like, you know, Susie has a cat, and all cats in Susie's neighborhood are black. So, what would be the answer? What color is Susie's cat? So it's more just like logical testing, not really intelligence testing, from what I understand. So I don't know why they need to do that, but I guess they're just testing you in some way. And lastly, you need to you need to get a complete background check. They'll do a credit check, a polygraph test, medical examination, you name it, any type of test they can do on you to learn more about you and see what kind of person you are. They're going to test you on it. So those are like the requirements that their website offered that you needed to join. But moving on to that, saying you did get into, you did get a job for Secret Service, you would then start training. And first step in training is at the Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Glencoe, Georgia. I didn't do much research on this, but from what I'm guessing, you're just going to learn the standards, and I guess it's a good school. I mean, if the Secret Service is using it, then why wouldn't it be? Then you will have 14 weeks of specialized training in D.C., ranging from police procedures to international treaties and protocol. And if you complete that and you're going to be a special agent, there is an 18-week special agent training course outside of DC, ranging from water survival skills to combating counterfeiting. So obviously they're going to train you very well, so you know the ins and outs of just being a regular police officer to being, a special agent if you choose that field. Now, there's 4 different divisions within the Secret Service. First one, which is the most popular, says 3,200 employees currently, is the Special Agent Division. And they're the ones that mainly handle the investigations and exploring like counterfeiting and fraud and whatnot like that. Then there is the Uniform Division, and they mainly will protect foreign individuals and the White House. Just to go back again on the special agents, they also protect the president and the vice president. I think they split up the work kind of evenly depending on how spread out they are between tasks. And next is the administrative, professional, and technical divisions. That's all clumped into one, so it could be called the APT. And the APT is made out of 2,000 individuals. Um, they do the paperwork. They're your doctors, your forensic specialists, anything like that. The way I like to think about it is I'm very military mindset, and the APT would kind of be like any supporting combat supporting branch to what the infantry is. So um, if you understand at all, it'd be the infantry is like every branch in the army is supported by supports the infantry in one way or another, so they can get their objectives done. So that would be what your administrative, your professional, or technical. So your doctors and mechanics, stuff like that. That's what this kind of reminds me of. And then lastly, you have your special officers, and from what I understand, that's kind of like the same thing. Officers in the army, they do mainly all your planning and just appointing leaders into the service or agency and just making sure the everything's run smooth. So overall, they have about 6,000 employees. Um, Actually, excuse me, 6,500 employees. Probably around 7,000, something like that, just depending. Um, but it seems like a good field to get into. It's pretty hard, pretty competitive, but it's interesting if you ask me. Quick fun fact that I found, I thought this was pretty cool. So when they first started doing the White House detail, and by that they started protecting the White House and looking over it, this was in the year 1902. The Secret Service only assigned 2 men onto the detail. Compared to today, I think that's crazy. We probably have more than 200 people protecting the White House, and some we probably don't even know about. So I think that's a cool thing, just seeing how much we progressed over the years. But so I guess questions, if somebody would ask me why I did the Secret Service, is yeah, I'm looking into it as a job. Right now I'm ROTC, and depending if um, I don't know if I want to branch infantry, and depending if I like it or not. Um, After my 4 years, I'd like to maybe get out and do like a job stateside instead of being overseas and stuff like that. But I'm really up in the air about it. I'm not really picky at the moment. I just gotta see where life takes me and all that. And then um, I guess another question could go. Um, I don't know. Maybe I would ask the class what's the difference between a special agent and a uniform division. Which, if I didn't cover that really good in this video, then the main difference is just they kind of do the same tasks. It's just one's not going to be in a uniform and one's going to be. So obviously, uniform division's more DC wide, while the Secret Service special agents can go spread out and cover more fraud acts and just investigations like that. But so pretty much that's my presentation that I wish I could have gave in class, but that's it then. All right, thank you.